Hello everyone, it's John from Brisbane. This is about the fourth time I've tried to make this video because each time I start I digress, and boy do I digress. I've covered politics, social issues, things that I really, while I've got a passion for, I don't think you really need to know my personal opinions on a lot of stuff, and who knows where I may end up talking about things today. But anyway, my club has had its second meet, which was all well and good. What did we play? We played Seasons. Seasons was good. I organised that to be played. We had, what else was being played that day outside of my little group of people that were playing? We had a game of Warhammer Fantasy Battles 3rd Ed, which was the Oldhammer group, part of the guys that are part of the Brisbane people. Omar and one of his friends turned up to play. That was exceptionally good. That was really nice to see. So, hey, listen, if you got old rule sets or old board games, there is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with playing old games. And if people tell you that playing an old game is, why are you playing an old game? Play new. Ignore them. I do. Then there is, what else did we do? Seasons, we played Seven Wonders. Seven Wonders was a lot of fun. Never played that one before. This is the one thing actually that I do like about clubs, is the fact that people who turn up, we have people who bring along Kickstarters, or they bring along their own games, and people will look at it and go, oh, haven't played that, how about we try that? Which of course is a danger for me, because as a pensioner with absolutely no spare cash, it's, oh, I want that, and I'd very much like to add that to my collection. Says me with, I can't remember what the last count was, about 400 odd board games sitting on my collection now. Yes, but it's brilliant because you can sit, you can play and make a decision whether or not that's a game that you'd like to add, and by yourself. Admittedly, it's hard when somebody brings you an out-of-print game that's 30 years old and you suddenly go, oh, this is brilliant, how the hell did I miss this game? And in my case, it's worse because I can remember the game sitting on the shelf in the shop that my wife worked in 30 odd years ago, and I'm thinking, why didn't I buy that? And I'll go, well, I was primarily a role player back then, and my focus wasn't on board games. And I'm thinking, geez, if I'd have bought that then. But this is it. We look at things and we go, why didn't I do that back then? Why didn't I keep that? Which is why, you know, when I see people go about talking about this shelf of shame, or, you know, culling their board game collection and things like that, it's anathema to me, is the fact, I think, who was it? Danny and Derek posted a thing about, you know, do you cull or whatever? Or what do you do with board games that have sat on your shelf for too long? And for me, it's, well, should I live that long, is that if my grandchildren or a young person or somebody turns up, God forbid, and plays games at my place, and as I think I might have said on his Twitter account, you know, I said if a youngling comes up and points to one of my games that I hadn't played in 30 years, and he says, what's this game like? And I'll probably look at it and go, well, RAF. God, haven't played that since 1980, whatever. Take me a while to remember how to play it. How about you take the rules, read it, and we'll play a game? So, if they're interested, don't you think that'd be a wonderful thing? Is that if somebody comes along and looks at your collection in that you've had sitting on your shelf that's 10, 20 years old, but something you haven't played, and somebody comes along and goes, "Ooh, that looks interesting. How about we play that?" It's better that it's sitting there and available than not there at all. And for me, that's the joy. It's the joy in the fact that somebody would see a title that would interest them. So, you know, that's how I look at games that I've got that are, you know, that I haven't played in ages. It's like all my role-playing games, you know. A lot of them I haven't played since the 80s. You know, I love them because they bring back memories, and the fact that I like to sit every now and again, I'll drag out one of the books, one of the source books, and just go flipping through and reading some of the history or some of the background material, because it's just interesting. I just like reading people's ideas for universe development and things like that. It's just fascinating. Keeps me amused, keeps me entertained. I prefer things in print, which was, you know, one of the things that I had with a bit of a discussion with certain individuals on one of their podcasts, where they were going on about, you know, everything being electronic. And the fact that, of course, they took what I said out of context. But the thing is that if we get hit with a cyclone and we're without power for weeks, I'm thinking, like, I think America, what was it, one of the hurricanes that came through there, like in the southern states, I can't remember which city it was or something, but, you know, they were without, some of those areas were without power for weeks or whatever. If you've got a tablet that requires power, or, you know, I got a book. Book doesn't need power, except obviously you need daylight. Quite happy to read during the daylight. Don't need a power cord. So, you know, the advantages of technology are wonderful to a point, but I'm still very much a man who prefers things in print and with physical copies always, because that's just me. But the pig, going back to the pig, we had the start of our tour. What did I call it? Here we go. Let's see whether or not the Google translation will be picked up.
Tour de l'aveugle au cochon.
Yeah, no idea if that was picked up by the sound, but it was Tour of the Blind Pigs. So we'll try that.
Tour de l'aveugle au cochon.
Yeah, well, that's Google Translate for you. Of course, my French is schoolboy French from, well, a long time ago. And what can I say? I despise French. So do not ask me to try and pronounce it, because I will butcher it. My French will be similar to hello, hello. And so somebody will probably go, "How dare you debase and make fun of the French?" Why not? Everybody else does. Why not? Everyone makes fun of the English now. So I think it's only tit for tat time. But so our Ride of the Blind Pigs, our Flamme Rouge tour kicked off at the Blind Pigs. So we're running that over 7 legs, and that will be interesting. I won the first placement. Pedal like mad for the, well, not like mad, I just strode off rather sedately at 5 squares to start with, and everybody just banked up behind. Then we hit the cobblestones, and I banked everybody else up deliberately behind me. Went really slow because I kept drawing 2s. And but of course the problem is that being out the front, you're drawing those exhaustion cards, and at the end, I can't remember how many. I think I had 8 exhaustion cards at the end of the game. So I think that was my raconteur, the R. Yeah. So he has ended up with 4 exhaustion cards carrying over to the next leg. So, but in the end, I crossed the finish line 4th, and my sprinter crossed the line 3rd last. What can I say? I suck. But it has proved to be a popular game amongst the group that we have. So it was it's proved well. Another game that we quite like, well, a certain number of us like anyway, is Keyforge. Only because it's not like Magic where you've got a deck build and the collectability. We're just buying decks of cards already pre-made. So I really like that, because I'm quite tired of shelling out ridiculous sums of money, and I'm quite happy to play with the couple of decks that I've got at the moment. So some work, some don't. It really depends what my opponent has in the way of decks. But yeah, so that was indeed that. Now, I did have another witty thing that I wanted to discuss. Of course, I had everything nicely sorted out, but of course I had to do the Google Translate, didn't I? But yeah, it was. What was one of the other? Oh, TV series. I'm caught up with Korea. I've got a penchant for Korean television at the moment. I really, really do enjoy Korean TV series at the moment. What's the now the titles are escaping me, and I'm not going to go change the screen again because I've just gotten to what I wanted to end my show with. But there was Whatever's the Matter with Secretary Kim is the one that the wife and I are watching at the moment, and that's proven to be quite an entertaining series. So we're quite enamoured with that, and of course the other one that has doing its popularity, although a few people don't quite like it, but I enjoyed The Umbrella Academy. Yes, didn't realise. Initially, when I saw it, I thought, yeah, right. I gave it the miss, because I thought, no, I saw Titans and didn't like Titans, and a lot of the superhero sort of ones didn't appeal to me. But Dan Hughes went, oh, I like it. And I went, oh, okay, so Dan likes it, so it might actually have some worth. And I went and watched it, and it actually appealed to me. And I went, oh, exceptional. I like the characters. 5 reminds me of a younger version of me, of course, but I thought exceptional. It was well worth watching. So I do hope that we do get a second season. But like everything, its first season's good, gets everybody hooked in, but whether or not season 2 is as good as the first season that hooks you in. It's like Stranger Things. I enjoyed season 1 of Stranger Things, and season 2 just totally missed the mark. So, but yeah, anyway. It's interesting, and I'll end, I suppose, on a sort of political statement, but some people have been saying things that have just been annoying the absolute crap out of me, and I just thought I'll end with this. This is from Harry Harrison, and it's from his novel Death World 2, and And of course I didn't take note of when the hell he bloody wrote this, but it would have been, oh God, I can't remember when he wrote it, but it would have been, I think I read it in the 70s. Could have been. I'm probably wrong. I might have to go have a look at when it was written. But anyway, was by Harry Harrison, and it's from his novel Death World 2. And my version, or my edition of the book, it was on page 55 for those who want to have a look at it. I can't remember what book it was, so I presume it'll be fairly close if people want to go have a look it up. But anyway, it's between two characters who are having a debate. And one of the characters goes, "Blasphemer, a crime is a crime. There are moral laws that stand above all human society." To which the second character responds, "Oh no, there aren't. That's just the point where your medieval morality breaks down. All laws and ideas are historical and relative, not absolute. They are relevant to their particular time and place. Taken out of context, they lose their importance." And that's where I'm going to leave today. So anyway, thank you very much for your time and patience in listening to my meandering. I was hoping to keep it to 15. I've gone over. So till next time, signing off, the Honourable John.